Welcome back to another episode of the Office Hours podcast with Professor Brad Perkins. Today, I have a couple of alumni here. They're in town once again for the Engineering Career Fair that is in week 2. But I asked them to swing by, kind of talk about their history, what they do for a living, what they're looking for, maybe even how the industry has changed in the past decade or two. With that in mind, I'd like them to introduce themselves. Why don't you start?
Brian Wessels.
Okay.
Connie, 2004.
2004. So you would have been just before I started teaching, right? You were between. So I graduated in 97.
Yeah.
And then when did you get here? Like 99?
2000.
Oh, 2000? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you got here in 2000, and then you graduated just before I started teaching here.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And then you and I got to get to know each other during my Connie advisory stint.
Yep. While you were on the Industry Advisory Council.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's right. That's right. And then, so what are you doing these days, right?
These days started my own construction company here. We just turned 5, based in the Twin Cities, called Intent Built, and general contractor that does almost everything, which I guess is an interesting concept for...
I was going to say, because people don't do almost everything anymore.
No. People like to get pretty specialized, and we've kind of found a unique opportunity to do what our team members like to do.
Oh, okay.
And so we have our heavy civil side, so we're doing earthwork, utilities, asphalt parking lots. We have our new construction, so multifamily apartments, single-family home developments. We have our heavy industrial commercial, so we have master service contracts with like the railroads. So we're doing stuff all across the greater Midwest in that. And then we've got food manufacturing, which is kind of one of our fun specialties right now. We're kind of design building food manufacturing plants.
Oh, that's good. Now that could be pretty tricky.
It can.
I mean, like you just even getting into the process of making cheese. You get some pretty specialized mechanical systems, and it's a weird thing.
It's interesting, right? So looking at not only like the food safe and the HACCP and kind of all those unique things specific to what the building does, but I had an opportunity for a couple of years to help launch a food company, and in that time was operations. So understanding how the built environment really supports the business operations, and taking that approach to help our clients go forward, to say we understand the building we're building is just to make sure your business succeeds. And so how does that built environment allow you to succeed, either operationally, food safety, human comfort, and just like happiness?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, of just understanding your clients and who you're building for, not just what you're building, why.
So,
okay.
Fun.
All right. Well, you want to, Mike?
I can go.
A little closer.
Mike Pokorney. I work for a company, Bader Companies out of Minneapolis. I am their director of construction. We do multifamily development, operations, and management and acquisitions. So I've actually worked with Brian on a few projects, made a few stints at different general contractors from soup to PM, and here I am now doing multifamily projects, which is very different for me, but it's been a wild ride and fun, and get to do a lot of different things.
And then which year did you graduate? Because it was, hold on.
2010.
2010, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
After I took my, I did a co-op where I was actually laid off.
Those were rough. Yeah, those were
during the fun.
During the fun. Okay, so all right. So here, this is, you know what?
And
this
your
is,
TA. You can't forget it was
and
your TA.
my TA. Well, no, I cannot forget. See, if you'll notice, like I think like this must mean I've been here a long time.
It is.
Because like half of the alumni that come back were a TA for me at some point. Have you noticed this on my podcast?
Yeah.
A theme one would say.
A theme as it were. Of course, I chose the successful ones. And then there's Mike.
Well,
no.
Law of averages, I think.
Law of averages. But, this is interesting because I was talking about in class just this week as we're talking about the career fair, and I was talking about your class because you remember those days. It was rough, in the like 2008, 9, 10, and people had internships and they had even full-time hires.
Yeah.
And then slowdown happens, and then all of a sudden people are getting laid off as interns.
Yeah, we were junior sophomores when watching seniors that were had great internships, very successful, leading AGC, doing stuff to go and don't have a job for you.
Don't have a job for you. Don't have a job for you.
And I sat there and questioned, was this the right choice for me?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was a lot of that at that time.
There was.
Well, and not just you. There's people in the industry for 5, 10, 20 years, and they were like, is this the right job for me? And so what I was my point to the students is that, you know, we've been on this long tear where everybody gets a job every semester, and there will be one, and probably have your choice of a couple. And, you know, where do you want to work and who do you want to work for? And what I was saying in class is that now odds are that I'll continue, and I'm not, you know, trying to fearmonger or scare anybody, but I said, what if it doesn't? Yeah. You know, what are you as a student doing that makes you stand out? What are you doing, you know, with like what's the extra that, because even during those days, people found jobs, but did you want a good one? You know, what were you doing as a student that would make you rise to the top of somebody's hire list in a competitive job environment where not everybody got a job? And, you know, so that's where I was like, you know what? Don't just sit there while you're here at Iowa State and do the minimum. Don't just be like, you know, somewhere in the back half of the class getting passing grades, but never doing the AGC, never doing, you know, the volunteer work, never getting the internships or co-ops or whatever. You know, I said, you know, so just in case someday, what are you doing that's going to make you stand out from your peers? And, you know, they're kind of looking at me like, yeah, fine. You know,
you bring up a good point. I've had the opportunity to come to Iowa State for, you know, probably 15 of those 20 years as an alum to help recruit for the different companies I had been with.
Yeah.
And while GPA is a thing, it is not for us in the companies I've hired for and my company now. It is not the thing that defines who individuals are.
No.
You know?
No.
Sometimes I have to remind myself, did I actually graduate? Like, did I get a diploma? Yeah. I don't really remember, but I learned a lot.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the key, Mike, is like you learned a lot, and as Brad's indicating, like, what did you do to learn a lot?
Yeah.
Like just
what did you do? Did you just do the minimum, or did you do the other stuff? And you know, the phrase I used in class here is there's a lot to be learned while you're here at Iowa State. Some of it happens in class.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think I look back at all the things I did, and obviously Connie was a huge part of it.
Oh, yeah. I
mean, from ASC competitions, being able to sit and talk and do
still
those
going
kinds
on.
of things.
AGC trips.
Started NHB, which probably isn't an association anymore because
it's not really.
We started it. Doesn't mean it's but then outside of that, you know, just the socialization through all the people that are here and different educations, different backgrounds, different upbringings. Yeah. And I mean, Iowa State, I was the captain president, whatever, at the lacrosse club. So just
were you
running the lacrosse club and figuring that out?
How did I not know that?
I was going through the one on trademarks and the fun of the trademark.
Oh, the trademark
discussion.
Trademark discussion.
I remember that
sure.
because it was like we want to make a shirt, and like you had to figure out how to navigate these policies, these different things. And
it's way worse today.
Yeah,
it is way worse.
Everything's worse.
Everything's worse.
But then, how do you coordinate a van trip? How do you get 12 guys that all want to do different things to get in two different Iowa State vans and not crash them? Yeah. We only crashed them once.
Yeah.
Only once.
And it was someone else's fault.
Oh, that's good.
There's court documents to prove it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you bring up a good point. Like, I was the AGC student chapter president. Same thing. Like, trying to like keep ourselves out of trouble and then get as much exposure as possible to the trips and the opportunities. And
you know what's fascinating to me? Okay, so I was vice president in 97. Think about how much it changed, like quickly. Like in 97, we didn't communicate by email. The students didn't. We didn't have cell phones. They don't now. That's, okay, all right. Well, that's fair enough. But what they have is 100 other apps that they might use. You know, but how fast things changed in so much that none of us had cell phones. Yeah. You know, and we didn't communicate with apps, and you know, you left voice, actual voicemail.
Right.
You had a legit machine attached to your phone, and if you didn't, you might leave a message, but it might be a day before anybody listens to it. So, I mean, it just fundamentally changed just between 97 and let's say 2005 when I started teaching.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild to think that I didn't. I mean, now we're just talking like old person talk.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like,
welcome.
Yeah,
welcome to the club.
But I mean,
right.
I didn't get my cell phone until like my freshman summer, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't have cameras in our cell phones.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Through college, right? Like that wasn't.
It wasn't a thing.
No, and Facebook started in 2004. Like you had to have a
Right when we were coming into school, it was like,
Yeah.
we can get into Facebook because we
Yeah.
have a college email.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Back then.
Look at you, old guy.
Yep.
Right.
No, it's just interesting, like the change that happens, and yet fundamentally, like bringing it back to like Iowa State and like why we come back to the career fairs is we understand that the program's advancing and the industry's advancing, but like the foundation core of what we learned, and Mike and I both have wildly vast paths we've chosen, but foundation-wise of what we learned here, how to solve a problem, the opportunities through like our student organizations to like coordinate and put stuff together is setting us up to like succeed.
Well, and I mean, I'm a firm believer in that. I mean, Mike, I'm still using the same drawing set.
Yeah. Why not?
You know why?
Doesn't
right?
change.
Because the fundamentals are the same, and I'm a firm believer that the best way to learn plans is on a paper set of drawings, and that you should use a scale and a highlighter and some engineering paper to do your first takeoffs, not because you're going to be doing that all your life, but because you need to understand the fundamentals. And like every semester, and I think I do a better job now of explaining why.
Yeah.
That I didn't, because you'd have been like, when did you take 241?
Probably 2000. What? Six? Seven. Seven, probably.
Like one of the first semesters I taught that class, so even though a lot of the things are the same, one of the things that I think I do a better job of is explaining why I do some of the things I do, why I think it's important to do the takeoff on paper and with a pencil.
Yep.
Because what I've learned is you get a lot more buy-in. Instead of students like, well, in my internship, I used on-screen takeoff. So what I do is I explain, like, sure, some of you may have used on-screen takeoff, and you may have used, there's all sorts of different programs that you might have used. And then I'm like, and how much did you think about it?
Right.
And that's what I'm wanting you to do is your learning is to focus on the learning and on thinking about it and making sure it's like, okay, this is why we are, doing it by hand, so that all computers, and this is true, and this is no matter how far we get into AI, the thing that computers do is whatever mistakes you are going to make, it allows you to make them bigger and faster.
Yeah.
That's it. That it's just a tool. It's just a tool. It's not replacing the human part, or at least my opinion is.
I think the one thing coming out of school I was frustrated with was the lack of the technological, like, do this.
Mm-hmm.
And like Larry Cormichael at the time was teaching scheduling, and we didn't open a software package until weeks to the end.
Yeah.
It was the whole, and maybe it's still that way today, but it was the foundationally understanding your forward pass, your backward pass, critical path and logic and float and all that whatever software our companies choose to put in front of our employees, we assume they'll figure out. But if they understand the core foundation of how to accomplish it, they're going to succeed. Now, I wish there was like a better Microsoft Excel, like teach the kids a little bit deeper in that, 'cause everyone's going to have that one. But
for sure.
Yeah.
But after that, it's like just that foundation of a Connie coming out is just, it's special. Again, that's why we're back here recruiting, but it's the ability to solve the problems. I mean, right now, Mike and I have some opportunities on some projects where it's like, this is happening. Like, foundations are settling, things are moving, and I think we're in a unique position that, we've gone through the same soils, concrete, all that stuff, but we can look at a problem and say, I don't know the root cause, but I know the pieces that we have to address and who to engage to solve it, and then we can go forward, as opposed to like coming out of the program and be like, well, I know everything, and like, here, I'll do the math myself, and this is it. It's like we know the questions to ask to dive deeper, And as technologies advance, that core understanding of how to solve the problem
hasn't
gone away.
No, it's not. It's not. In fact, what I would hazard to say is that you've got even more tools for analysis at your hands. But are you asking the right questions? Are you doing the right research? Are you doing the right, looking in? I was just, presenting a little bit of facts to one of my classes, and I was cautioning them on the use of AI. And it's like, okay, like I know it's out there. Sure, great. Don't get misled by it. Because it's really easy for it to happen. And I threw up this stat, which I don't have any idea if it's true or not, because I saw it on the internet, so,
Yep.
But it's in my LinkedIn where, it says, okay, if you ask a question of AI, this is where they're going to get, to get the facts that they give you. And then you look at those sources and, it's the Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to Reddit for my engineering.
I had the opportunity to speak at a conference in June on AI and our company's integration of it kind of across the board. And the one statement kind of prepping for that I kind of came across was AI is like a very confident high schooler.
I like that.
Like everything it tells you, you're like, oh, that just makes sense. But you have to have that question. You have to ask its sources. And so I think back to the question you said about foundationally understanding, like the engineer and asking the questions. Any engineer is, if they have that understanding of like a prompt engineer for AI, gives them the right tools to craft the question to get the data back. That's the unique piece.
And
like,
that's
if you just say, "Oh, what's my deflection on a 14-foot member?"
Yeah, it'll give you something confidently.
Very, very confidently.
Yep.
Very confidently.
And I think that's where the reason you come back to Iowa State to hire, the reason I enjoy, we're not hiring currently, but I love working and collaborating with people as Connie at Iowa State, because I know I can expect from Brian these basic things. Yeah. And he's going to do them pretty well.
Isn't that, you know what though, throughout my career as I would, as a design engineer, it was very common for the project manager to be a Connie alum. And man, that was nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a relationship I can think of, and I won't say which projects or anything, but there's a couple of times where one of my classmates is the project manager. I'm the lead design engineer, and we're like, oh man, there's a problem. I'm going to come over to the trailer here today, and we'd sit down and hash out some potential solutions. Not that we're undercut. I mean, far and away, we're making sure the owner that we both work for ultimately is getting the best answer. But you know what? Because we had so much in common, we could hash out facts and good solutions.
Yeah.
And then, so that then when this comes up in a job meeting in front of everybody, both construction and design have answers that people can live with.
Yeah, that's been for me now in my new position of coming from a superintendent and trying to just solve problems in my little bubble, and then learning, I can go out and talk to people that have done this many times before I have, or reach out to other people. And now on the ownership side, working for a company that's done apartment buildings for 60 plus years and going, hey, have you guys ever actually looked at a set of drawings and like thought about what you really want? No, we like this unit mix, this amenity, and this amount of parking. Okay, well, let's talk through how can we increase whatever returns your value on this project. Is it lowering costs? Is it raising rents? Is it building it more efficiently? Is it spending money less in the future? And now I'm going to go have those conversations with my designers, my engineers, my contractors, and we're going to talk through it. And that's where I go have a meeting with Brian on something like that, and we just instantly can talk about it and go, I get where you're coming at. Dude. You tell me what you need,
right?
And I'll help you. I'll bounce ideas. We'll think things how to get there, because there's things that you might want that are really costing you money or causing you more problems down the line.
I think that's a great point. As Mike and I have strategized on different projects, and financially it's expensive out there. And the thing we talk about is like, well, the materials are going to be what the materials are. No one's creating some master wall assembly. Like we continue to evolve and things. So it's labor, during the course of construction, understanding your variables, and then it's truly like Mike said, the operational efficiencies after the job. And so how are we designing our mechanical systems, our material selections to has to be affordable. Like the job has to start.
Yep.
So we can't go like triple pane and super high performance and geothermal.
Because it might save us some money, we think, in the future on operational costs.
Yeah. I haven't found one client that'll let me spend $1 million to save $1 million. Like the numbers
We
don't
won't
work.
do it.
No,
Yeah.
it just doesn't
I
financially
won't take
work.
the risk.
Nope.
Well, okay, but all right. So I don't normally, as a design engineer, I don't normally get involved with multifamily.
It's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
it is.
so if I am involved with it, it's bad
Yeah,
because here lately. So this summer, I had a lawyer, which funny. Did you know the Cutlers?
no.
Scott Cutler. Okay. Anyway, I think they were after you, but anyway. So this is how small of a Connie world this is. So this lawyer calls me up here a year ago. It says, "Hey, I got this. Could you look at this? Such and such." I'm like, "Sure, yeah." And I'm like, "This guy's name sounds familiar." He goes, "Oh yeah, a couple of my boys went through Connie, And I was like, no, that's
Yep.
right, that's right. No, and then his son, his third son, did not go Connie. He's a lawyer with him.
Oh,
So it's just, and the funny part was, so he has me be the expert witness for, and I won't say which one, but
A thing.
with X construction company. And I'm like, "Hey, just so you know, on occasion, I teach plan reading to X construction company." He goes, "Yeah, their CEO, CEO Y recommended you." I'm like, "Yeah, I known him since school."
yeah.
He goes, "Oh, okay. All right. That's cool. Do you have any other potential conflicts of interest?" I'm like, "Maybe. Who are the players here?" Well, turns out the design firm, principal in the design firm, I was in his wedding.
Oh.
We sat next to each other both on the first day of class and at the end of class. Okay, so he's principal in the design firm. He brings with him a young engineer that was in Connie that took classes from me,
Yeah.
And then we show up for this job site, this observation. And, the vendor for the mechanical units was here also, former Connie student of mine, and it's just like one thing after another. And then afterwards he's like, "You are useless as an expert witness." he goes, "You know everybody here." And I'm like, "Sorry, that's what happens when you
20 years at Iowa State.
Yeah, 20 years at Iowa State. And
20
it's
years at
Iowa.
Iowa State.
And we're in Iowa. It's
Even
a
Minnesota.
small world.
Minnesota is just as small.
Oh, yeah.
with-
Well, you
and
don't
even anywhere out there. It's just
Yeah.
the Connie
It is. So
brother and sisterhood of Connies.
Oh, it is.
across the
It
country that
So here a couple years ago, a former Connie coworker that was a teacher here at Iowa State, he's now the professor in charge at Arizona State. And so like 2 weeks to go till the semester starts, and suddenly he realizes his mechanical instructor can't do it.
Oh.
Yeah. And so he calls me up. He's like, "Hey, any chance you could teach this as an emergency online?" I'm like, he goes, "I already talked to, your the professor in charge of Connie. Could you please, And I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know. This will be rough."
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so I do agree. And this is pretty awesome. They fly me out there for like the first or second week of class so that I could at least meet the students, so that they could see, hey, there's a real person here. And what was awesome is that, at Arizona State, the construction program has box seats at their football stadium.
All right.
Yeah. And what's awesome is
we can't get a new building and they got box
Oh,
seats.
shut up. Oh, don't. Oh,
Sorry.
They're
I got to
bu-
donate more
next
money.
podcast,
You're
yeah.
right.
Their building, by the way, their building at Arizona State is a palace. It is one of the most beautiful academic buildings I have ever seen.
It's okay. Connie at Iowa State still.
Yeah,
If you
well,
don't know how to fix an old building, then
Then what?
Yeah, I
Dude,
mean,
we don't
it's-
know how to
it's
fix
the
an old building.
foundation.
But guys, where was without
Sorry.
air conditioning for half a year? Okay, I like it. No, I'm not
As
even.
everyone should in college.
Shut up. Oh, not when I'm teaching. This sucks. Okay, but anyway, I go out there, and we're at this faculty thing. So he wanted, as a temporary faculty member, he's like, "Hey, come to our box seats. We've got alumni and donors and stuff, and we'll have a couple of the student org leaders there. So I'm talking to one of them, and it was a project manager that I didn't know. She was not a Connie, but she was working for DPR. I'm like, oh yeah, I know. One of my TAs, right? She went to DPR. She's like, who? And I tell her, she goes, oh my God, I was her mentor. I was like, get out. She's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, so we get together, I take a selfie, and I still have her, just like this guy's phone number is still in my same phone number is still in my phone. Right. So we took a picture, and I just texted it to her, the photo, didn't say anything. Yeah. Like 2 seconds later, she's like, where the hell are you? And how did you meet this person? I'm like, I'm in Phoenix, And of course, she's like, you didn't switch universities, did you? I'm like, I'm on loan. No. I'm on loan.
Well, I mean, I think that story, though, is like, it's just repeated every day.
Every day in Connie, right?
It's just Connie and the industry and relationships. Like Mike and I talk like how we got connected, who we know, and then just, everything you do.
We got connected through Mark Bassara. I can name drop. I'm sure he'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Who I met on freshman orientation day.
Of course.
Go through Connie. He then goes, I know this guy named Brian. He's just, can you meet up with him? He just wants to have a cup of coffee. So, sounds good. Sure. And 6 months later, we're doing a project together.
There it is.
Just because I knew I could trust him to do it and had expectations, and he also had other Connies working for him. So I said, well, if there's more than one, I can
there
trust
you go.
that. It's not just one.
Because here, and this is something I harp on my students, is that the most important thing they develop through college isn't the degree, it isn't the grade point, it isn't their resume, it's their professional reputation. Because for a fact, like within a couple of phone calls, if, Wessels here was a dirtbag.
Yep. I could find it out. Two people.
Find it out. Yeah. Literally.
Easily 2 people.
Easily. And, or, he's got a good reputation, whichever. But that is so important.
Yeah.
And things I stress to my students as they're, what's important isn't what grade you got on the final project, but what is lasting is what your teammates think of you at the end of that. That's lasting. I mean, come on, we could all go back in time and think, yeah, there's some people that were Connies I'd love to work with again. And then
no, I mean, there's
others where you're like,
group.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really great class. Like, it was a lot of fun, and I still keep in touch with, a handful of them. And it's wild, the places you'll go, right? I'm sure there's plenty of books and stories on that. But like, as a Connie, we come out of school, and it's like, I'm going to build a stadium, a hospital, or a power plant, or some kind of bigger product. And, as I look at our graduating class and just relationships, it's like, man, we're all over the place. Like, our company, we're quickly growing, and, we're getting up there, but, we're not knocking the doors on stadiums or, hospitals. And there's just all sorts of opportunities to, like, look at something else, I guess. And so maybe as a talking point, and that I'm here for the career fair, is like, hey, you don't have to go to some big acronym type company to get a fulfilling opportunity and really expand your horizon and like make an impact. And I don't think that was kind of one of the like eye openers, and I had a lot of guys come out and friends that went and they did shop drawing reviews for stadiums for 3 years. I'm like, nah.
I did. When I started, I took a job.
You learn a lot. You do learn a lot. You learn every detail of that curtain wall weep system.
Yeah, I see.
And you never make the mistake again if there was one. There's benefits to both sides.
There is, because I did both. Right out of college, I worked for one of the monstrously huge companies. Now a design firm. But they also dabble in construction, but, it's power plant and stuff. And I learned how to be a very, very good engineer, very, very exact engineer. I would not trade that experience for anything. However, after less than 2 years, I was done. I was like, this is so boring. It's just killing me, and I needed, so I came back to the Ames area. I took a job with a small mechanical construction company that was a whole lot more build than design. but I did a little bit of design there, and I learned, the other end of the extreme where I'm doing drawings for the guys in the field, and they might be building what I drew like later this afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very, very different world, and having both of those extremes, I think, was very good for my career.
Yeah.
I would agree. I came out of school, went to a big general contractor, and you learned the ins and outs and how to do it and how to review a door hardware shop drawing for 1,300 doors and make sure they were all right and they all showed up on time and they got installed correctly.
Yeah.
And that is a critical piece to construction.
Yeah.
So is how do you protect your legal side? How do you get a pay app in? How do you receive a fax? Probably not anymore.
Receive a fax.
Well, I think to that point, it's just,
You are old. Did you just say receive a fax?
I did receive.
Dude, I don't even know where to find a fax anymore.
You can't.
Anyway, never mind.
But the nice thing about the larger organizations is you learn the systems, right? Like you understand like the X, Y, Z connection on how to do it right, and then the ability to succeed, right? I think on a previous podcast you mentioned kind of the different tiers of construction, right? You got your you've got your home building, you've got your grade school, high school, college, professional type thing, and I think the unique thing is, no matter what you do on your internships or where you go, you should hopefully retain and learn and get exposed to some best practices that you can then bring further into your career and understanding just fundamentally how to review a shop drawing and what that task actually is accomplishing, as opposed to like just rubber stamp and send it out the door, right? And so I think there is a lot of value in finding an entity that has that level of sophistication or understanding. And then, like you said, then maybe you go somewhere small from there or find a place that has it. But I think that's...
And I think either way on an internship, it's all about being willing to learn, take risks, ask questions. Yeah. And really all of those are a goal of just building trust with that company, that person, that soup, that PM. Yeah. And at the end of the day, when that soup says, did you like that intern? And they said, you know what? I trusted them at the end because if they said they'd get something done, they'd do it. And they followed through and they wanted to learn. Yeah. All they want. That's all you do that all the way through. You just keep trying to learn and keep trying to and build that trust.
The phrase I tell students is, okay, let's say that as an intern, you get stuck doing a shitty job, right? Do a shitty job well, you won't be doing one long.
Correct.
I mean, that's what the industry is. You're building. Now, that being said, I should caveat that because we had a couple of students this last summer that were promised internships and they ended up being like, field labor running the business end of a shovel. Not that there's anything wrong with running the business end of a shovel for experience, but what's wrong about it is if you promise a kid an internship,
you got to build the trust. And if they didn't earn your trust, you could. They can earn your trust just as much as they're trying to earn theirs. If they say, "Hey, I want you to do this," or "I want you to go here," or "I want you to do that," and then the rug's pulled out from under you go, maybe that's a different. I'm not going to trust that.
Well, and here's the terrible thing: that whole professional reputation thing is that a great way to build your internship program is to take an intern on and get them a good experience. They'll talk it up. Yeah. Bad way to destroy your internship program is hire a couple students, give them a terrible experience, and then they will talk it up.
Put all this information into a spreadsheet, please.
Yeah. Well, no. This was like totally like they promised them one thing and then just turned them into field labor and didn't
mentor, didn't do anything.
Didn't mentor. No, there was none of that. There was none of that. From their description, but when 2 or 3 students say the exact same thing, you're like, that's not great. That's not great.
Kind of expensive labor, depending on what markets you're going into.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Or at least I hope it was. I hope at least the kids made a few bucks to pay for their college. But anyway, I mean, there's lots to be learned along the way here. And it's just crazy, isn't it? The relationship part and I think Connie is a little bit unique in that.
It's 100%.
Because just like there's one kid in my 241 class right now, whose dad I worked with as I was doing energy studies for Principal Financial downtown. And this was when his dad started at this company, and I'm going to say it's been like 12 or 13 years, So at the time I met his dad, the kid's like 2 years old, 3 years old or something, and now he's in my class, and it's just funny. It's like, he said something like, something about his last name. I'm like, wait a minute, do you know this guy? He's like, yeah, that's my dad. And I'm like, and I'm on that guy's LinkedIn. It's just hilarious that I said, this is the most Connie thing everywhere. This is the most Connie thing anywhere. Is that if you make a really bad screw up, I can text your dad after class.
Right. Yes.
That's just. And what's funny is how many how many of my friends now, their kids have been in my class over the years, and he's not the only one. I mean, it's quite a few.
It's I don't know. The industry as a whole it's a very small industry, right?
Very small.
I've got over 20 years. I've got my phone is my inbox is too full. My contacts are too many. But if there's ever an issue, and this isn't specific to Con E, but it's just building that rapport and that personal value to be able to make the phone calls. Like, have you seen something like this before? Like, how did you solve this problem, or what was your exposure? And
every once in a while, I'll get calls like this from a former student, especially as it relates to problems with like humidity or, some mechanical thing. And
just
they're
run
like,
through your psychometric chart, you'll be fine. Figure out where it is.
Yeah.
You
know how many times I've asked that?
It's easy.
It's like, do you
know how many
remember...
times I've done it?
Yeah.
Just in real life of like, I got to go Google a psychometric chart.
Oh my gosh.
Draw it out and explain this
I
to
am
people.
so proud.
Here's where the dew point is.
It
happens all the time.
Does it? That makes
I've only
me so
pulled
happy.
a steel manual out once.
it holds
But
up
you
a
pulled that
monitor.
psych chart out multiple times.
That steals manual.
I did not, in the interest of full disclosure, I did not pay him to say that for any of my current students. So the lesson there is you need to pay attention. We're literally going over this today.
And it goes through all different realms of, I've done dolphin exhibits to stadiums to hotel rooms to apartments.
Yeah.
Humidity and air and comfort.
Oh
and
my gosh.
The feelings of people.
The feelings of people.
That you can't quite understand. Or it's a little humid today.
Especially in like the multifamily.
Oh, it's...
Right? Like,
guys, I've got like here... the case I'm working on right now on multifamily will probably become a case study once it's done. It's terrible. Like, I mean, obviously I can't give a whole lot of detail because it's an active case, but let's just say there's some condensation being blamed. And however we want to argue about it got there, think like the top of a 3-story apartment. There's a parapet wood construction, parapet wall that goes up above the roof, right? Low sloped roof. And parts of this are decaying.
Oh yeah.
So bad. Like they pulled off the membrane.
Little stack effect.
And it's like you touch it and it's just like falling apart.
Yeah, I mean there's plenty of we won't go into names or projects in the cities, right? But I mean, same stuff with just multi-story apartments.
Yeah. I'm like, so I'm being expert witness. I'm like, okay, I would like the mechanical drawings, please, to review. They're like, yeah, we got that, and I'm like, these are plumbing drawings, the mechanical.
I mean, a magic pack.
BTEC.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to go about it. I think the interesting thing, I lead up the BS and Beer Minneapolis chapter. So building science and beer are bullshit. It depends on the day.
Mm-hmm.
But, a key focus of that is your control layers within the building. And, one of our focuses at Intent Built is understanding the control layers, and being able to go back to our engineering degree is great to have a foundational understanding of it. But just getting into the mechanical systems of a building and that control layer, understanding, like, you're putting all these beautiful windows in. What does that impact on your heating loads? What's that risk exposure to, your moisture movement through the assemblies? And
like on this one, they don't have any mechanical ventilation. No fresh air is coming into this building at all.
And it's housing?
What year?
It's only 7 years old. And I'm like, I don't
had it still then.
Yeah, I'm like,
now we do too much moisture, too much air in.
Yeah,
well,
now I'm like, I don't think. you know,
I
I'm
mean-
like, I don't think this is right, you know. But
I mean, a
anyway.
Magic Pack would introduce your fresh air component.
Magic Pack would. You have
Yeah.
a damper on it on those.
Right.
We would typically do
This
that.
is not a Magic Pack.
We would typically do, and this is you get
Mhm.
into like the basics of
Yeah.
just mechanical design is let's
Right.
design an apartment. How do we
Right.
get air to come in? Put a bath fan in there
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and pull air from somewhere else.
Yes.
that's my-
Here's the thing: is there has to be somewhere else.
Correct.
No
Right.
common hallways. No. Nothing's-
There is no fresh air is introduced in this building on purpose.
So is it?
I think they were counting on infiltration
So like the units are continually under a negative pressure.
continually.
Yeah, the envelope's just not going to support that.
No,
Mm-mm.
well, and it hasn't.
Yeah.
And it hasn't. And you know, they're like, well, the reason is that you used bad insulation here, but it should have been spray foam. And legit, they have a good point. You know, they're like, okay, this should have been spray foam right at the roof
Yep,
deck
your rim
level.
joist and then
Yeah,
up
the
to your
rim joist,
parapet,
right?
You want
And
to
then
seal
they
that
didn't.
into your air barrier. And
Yeah, they didn't. Okay, so there are legit problems, but I'm looking at this going, I don't know if we can blame all this on, you know, because if it was spray foam, it just means that condensation would happen somewhere else.
somewhere else.
You know, we're just pushing problems around. I mean, anyway,
Yeah, no,
you know,
it's interesting though, because as we look at projects and we go in and we renovate old projects or
Yeah.
look at new ones to figure out financially, right? We
Yep.
talked about that earlier. Like how do we save a buck, right? Like
Mhm.
what is it? And
yeah,
a Magic Pack, a PTAC are all very cost-effective systems, and so it's like, well, to use that, what are the risks or challenges?
right.
And then you start looking at just, you know, as Mike said earlier, well, we're going to draw a unit. This unit sells the best.
Yep.
But then how do we build that unit to be cost effective and support the mechanical systems? Because everything else holistically is going to be easy. The flooring, the cabinets, on some level, it's all consumable. But usually the building core, the mechanical systems stay true, right? And so how can you service that? And then what's your internal ductwork and where are we saving our labor cost? And that's where that Magic Pack conversation has a lot of value. And this isn't a rip on those guys at all,
Nope.
right? But there's just, they have a need. But as you said, if the whole building hasn't been analyzed and just what I'd say,
See, and I
foundation-
would absolutely guarantee that conversation never happened when they built this. If they don't even have, you know, if they don't have any drawings of any mechanical stuff, you know, like ductwork, sheet metal, I literally think it was probably like, you know, hey, Bubba's Heating and Cooling, could you put a 2.5-ton split system in this? Sure.
Yeah.
You know, and oh yeah, and we want an exhaust fan out of the bathroom. Okay.
Yep.
You know, but I think that was the extent of the conversation. I haven't even found that much proof that was the conversation, but
It isn't much more than that.
no,
but
I mean,
no,
Yeah.
To your point, it's what matters. Of like we had to stay on that one. If we have a simple energy code now, or we have a
ooh, isn't it interesting how much since here I'm going to say since you left college,
Yep.
how much, because that was right at the time when in Iowa we made a massive shift in the energy code. And I don't know where Minnesota was at in this whole thing. They were probably ahead of us on this. But like in the state of Iowa, when I was a consulting engineer, even in the 2000s, like 2002, maybe even 2003, we were still using the 1989 version of the energy code, which no one knew anything about because you would have had to work so hard to violate it. You know, it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
You didn't think about it. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Professional architects that would hire me as a mechanical engineer didn't even know that the energy code pertained to their walls and windows because they never had to check.
yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden, right about, I want to say it was after 2003 when they're like, yeah, we're going to update to the 2003 energy code. And literally, since I'm the guy that did all the energy stuff for my design firm, you know, my boss is like, hey, Brad, read through this code. If this is adopted in Iowa, what will it change? And I read through it. I'm like, whoa.
wow.
I'm like, you don't understand. You know, I'm like, this fundamentally changes everything.
Yeah.
You know, and even obviously since then we've been adopting newer versions. And you know what I tell my students, and now that, you guys are seasoned professionals, right? Seasoned professionals. What I tell my students is the biggest issues in their careers is going to be energy and water. I firmly believe that. Now, maybe not water so much here, Iowa, Minnesota. Yeah. Okay, but energy for sure. And water if they move anywhere out on the coasts.
Yeah.
Especially west. So, but I mean, I think that's going to be their biggest issue in their careers.
I don't disagree. I think the interesting thing on the energy side, and us in the Midwest are kind of bubbled, right? Because just the cost is so cheap.
Yeah, and we don't care about conserving water.
No, there's.
I mean, we should, but we don't.
It rained a lot last night. So,
it did.
But I think the interesting thing as we work through the building design and the systems is understanding how the mechanics of that built space, like where you're spending the dollars. Like Mike and I will talk on like the mechanical systems.
Well, you can talk about saving every bit of energy that we want. If it doesn't boost my ROI.
Yeah. Oh, no way. Are you saying, no, stop.
I know.
Are you saying that the money we spend today, how much we spend is kind of a function of how much we're going to save year after year after year after year?
It is.
There's almost there's a diagram about this, isn't there? Like a big down arrow.
If I'm spending more money today to get the same, and my operating income goes down, my expenses go up because either a lump sum at the beginning in a construction contract to build this versus does it actually translate to saved energy and a common area cost? Yeah. Matters.
Oh, greatly. That's why it's a return on investment.
Yes.
And that's why that's the case. But see, everybody, whether we could be talking about, are you going to buy a new crane or are you going to rent one?
It's the same.
It's the same philosophy. It's like, okay, I'm going to either spend money today or spend money tomorrow. How much, and is it worth it to spend it today
that crane could last another 5 years without spending any more money on it.
Then the answer is to do nothing, right? The odds of that are slim.
True.
But you know what I'm saying. And here in the Midwest, we're fortunate in that we make different decisions than we would if we were in, say, New York or California, because we pay, on average in the state of Iowa, we're paying somewhere around 10 cents a kilowatt hour for electricity.
Yeah, we're 12 or 14.
12.
I don't know.
Yeah, you guys are similar.
Bit,
and it'll be more where I live in the on a rural co-op, it's more. And then if you go down to the Altoona area, it's less. And okay, fine, but that's a very different discussion than if we're in California, we're paying 25 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's just a different discussion. It's a different return on investment. So things that would make sense in California definitely don't make sense here in Iowa.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's an interesting thing as a student. Like, we're just worried about grades and stuff and coming out and building stadiums or whatever. But to get into like the ownership side of, who we're building for, or as we're design building stuff, what we're actually building and the client's needs at the end is that holistic approach to be like, it costs more. And the valid answer is I don't want to pay more. And, where is that coming out of from the operation of the facilities? Like, can that be an ops cost, right? Like, you got to get the budget to work, to get the loan, to get it started and break ground. There's a whole nother bucket of money that exists to like run the building.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, for sure.
If that's already set up to succeed at this price point, it is what it is. In-depth conversations can be had of trying to move money from a bucket, but that gets into, prove it, right?
That's been, as I started transferring to the ownership side and beating up GCs on their prices and telling them this, that, you're doing it wrong, you can do it cheaper. Realize, like, as you look at it in a development, you have a sunk cost for construction. That's a fixed budget. If I stay within that, all good. If I can take $50 out of that or $5,000 and save $50 a month on something operational wise, you take that and look at it in a financial model of what that is on my 6 cap or 5.5 cap. Like, now you're going, oh, that's real money I'm going to see. And if I can do all that, where it's kind of like, can I get to that starting point, right? Because that's the goal. Is like, let's get a project started. Let's go. Now can we work with our contracting, our management side, our leasing side, our engineering side, and go,
facilities.
I love this.
How do we make it work?
I do. This is teaching at Iowa State isn't exactly what I would call.
I'm waiting for what this word is.
Let me think here. Okay, let's just be perfectly honest. For a professional engineer, it's not financially viable.
Understood.
Okay. So to supplement said income, I do stuff like the expert witness stuff.
Okay.
But a lot of times what I do is answer the question. I probably do more energy studies than probably any other engineer in the state of Iowa. Where that's, okay, here's the baseline, but if we spend extra money today, does it pay off? Does it make sense or not? Like Principal Financial, as they were remodeling their downtown campus, they were remodeling about 2 million square foot of office building, and they had me do this analysis for every building. It's like, okay, we're going to remodel this. Here's some things that we could do. Does it make financial sense? So and I love doing that type of analysis. I think it's really, really interesting.
Well, Mike and I were talking about a project he had downtown where the main mechanical system was just on the puts. Was going out, and it was like, well, I could fix it.
Yes, what do I do? Yeah.
Or spend $80,000 more. I have the brand new top of the line, high efficient, and my building just has another 20 years of life in it because it's just the right time. And that's, even that concept to the building's aging. What you build today is supposed to last. There's a defined timeline in the apartments we build or whatever it is. It's only going to last so long. So how do you maximize that? I find it interesting taking that all the way to I'm going on a tangent, but like trees, like when we're doing new buildings and sites and these are the most big, beautiful trees ever. I'm like, they're done. And people just kind of look at you cross-eyed. How is that tree done? Well, a tree has 80, 120, 150 years. Is it going to die tomorrow? No. 10 years? Yeah, probably. So what are we going to do about it, right? Are we going to let that be the controlling factor? And how do we have those conversations with the city or the developer, the landscape design team to say, oh, this is a big, beautiful tree. We need to design around it. It's like, it is beautiful, but it's not going to be there. And if we spend all this additional funds to save this one tree, could we have done better?
Yeah.
And if that's more trees, if that's a different experience, but it's looking at that. And I know I went on a tangent with trees, right? But it's the same on the mechanical
It's the same
system.
discussion.
Yeah.
It's the same discussion.
And so
same discussion. What do you pay today? What are you getting back for it from it tomorrow? And analyzing, is it worth it? Because see, one of the things I kind of harp on students is that as engineers, we need to have a lot less emotion on these things and a lot more math. Like let's look at energy. Let's look at energy as an example. There's way too much emotion on these subjects. Fossil fuels, not fossil fuels. Do I outlaw natural gas for buildings? That's kind of an East Coast, West Coast kind of thing. But in our wind turbines, the answer and all these other things, and I'm not anti wind turbine. I'm not anti any of the renewables. I'm pro energy.
Yeah.
And we got to analyze that we don't have enough of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's 100%.
And we need it from all sources. So I'm not like, just as an example, when I was in the Navy, I was in a nuclear submarine, right? So I understand nukes. I'm very big proponent of nuclear power. Being a proponent of nuclear power does not make me anti-wind turbine.
Right.
I think we should be mature enough to realize we can have two things be true at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the how we use it, like you said, right? Like we're energy abundant, I guess, in the Midwest, or it's not financially a burden, right? So I
think that's fair. I think that's fair.
We're not as mindful of our specs per se, right? I mean, if electricity costs twice as much or natural gas costs twice as much as whatever we do pay today, would we explore a better building envelope to reduce that operational cost?
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like how would it change as we start moving through?
You would have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. Well, no, we have. Here, what I'm saying is that not just energy code, but customers asking the question. See, like at the start of my career, nobody was even asking the question because electricity was so damn cheap.
Yeah.
Here, let's go back to like early 2000s. In the Des Moines area, large general consumer was probably paying a penny a kilowatt hour. And think about that, penny a kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Energy efficiency. Here, you go to downtown Des Moines.
Yeah.
True. If you go to a lot of the high-rise buildings in downtown Des Moines, they all have electric resistance heat.
Because it was cheap.
Because it was cheap.
Yep.
Cheap first cost and cheap month after month.
Yeah.
Why do anything else? You know? And then what happened is it's like, I have a theory. I think someone got snowed in at their grandparents' house or something from California, you know, and they were like bored and they were talking to their grandparents about, you know, I don't know how. They found out that Iowa has electricity at like a penny a kilowatt hour. And they're like, oh my God. And then they learned that the internet comes here.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm serious. It did happen. Early 2000s,
Yep.
you know. So we got cheap electricity and the internet, and all of a sudden, you know, this executive goes back to Silicon Valley in California and goes, hey, there's this spot. It's called Iowa. And I know you haven't heard about it, but they've got internet and cheap electricity. How cheap? Penny a kilowatt hour. And all those guys, they were like, oh my God, we should put a data center there. And they're like, yes, we should. Don't tell anyone. We're gonna spend $1 billion in a cornfield in Iowa, but don't tell anyone. You know, we'll keep it confidential so no one else figures it out. And being as both of you know that you can't spend $1 million in Iowa without everybody knowing. You damn sure can't spend $1 billion on a data center and then not have everybody know.
Yeah. We got a couple in Minnesota.
Yeah.
There's some going on there too.
Yeah.
But it's the same for,
It's the same. Yeah.
again, in my life now of the apartments, which is exactly the same. It is cheaper for us to put a electric heat in. It's Minnesota. It's going to get cold.
It is going to get cold. That's messed
but
up.
if I don't have to run gas piping and I do this, and then you go, oh wait, now that electric price, the tenant's going to pay the bill. The tenant's also paying the rent.
Yeah.
Now you got
But
that's
then-
why you don't need all these separate meters.
Yep.
You don't need new services. You don't need all that stuff. I get the why. I do.
And
I do. You're like,
but then
hey,
you
let's just
realize
push that.
afterwards that they go, oh, well, because it was cheaper for us to put it in. But
Right.
now 2 years down the line, that tenant says, I have a $200, $300 electric bill.
And then apartments.com comes
I'm
out.
moving out. And I'm
Right.
going to the next one. That
Right.
just cost me 10 grand.
Yeah, because now, what's really hard is getting the next person to move in.
Correct.
Yeah, 'cause
And that's
they're
the
like,
same in a global scale of just
Yeah.
businesses and
It is.
buildings and everything. It
It
how do
is.
we get that energy to work? And to that too, in Minnesota, probably better to heat with gas.
Probably is.
I'd take the approach of just addressing the building envelope, and that's kind of one of my things though. Is like electric's not bad if we build above code.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
yes, but
it-
we could say that about any of the choices, though.
Yeah, I think
You know?
the challenge that Mike and I have is it still has to make sense on day one. And
Yeah.
who's footing that bill at the beginning? But
Mhm.
I've got lots of friends building pretty high performance products that are electric is more than capable of handling that. It's just
Or you put in a wood burning stove.
that's true.
Exactly. You put in word. You hire Mike to build
We do
build an
additions.
addition,
The addition,
right? Okay, so that everybody's in on the joke. Okay, so when Mike was a student, I got. Let's see here. It was you and Brandon.
Branton.
Branton. Yeah, Branton
And
Smith.
Scott House.
Scotty Hoskins. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And so my boys at the time, they were little guys, right?
Your kids were,
They were like the oldest was like 5 or
I would
6.
say 5, but yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So to build this addition on, basically we took a big picture window, and at one time in this house's history, and it's 125 years old. Okay, so anyway, it was a porch out there, and then they did away with the door and they put a big picture window. And I really like that window. We still have it.
Yep.
It was a great window, man. But it was probably, gosh, what was it, 6 foot by 6 foot? Something. All right. So we're like, okay, we're going to build on that way, and then move that window to the new wall that they frame up. But the funny part about it is, so they put in the footings and they're framing it up, and my boys are like watching every day.
Yep.
At that window, man. It was like what are they doing today? They thought that was the coolest thing. Actually, all 3 of my sons ended up going through the construction program at DMAC.
See?
See, I think that was.
That's
I think
awesome.
that was.
you single-handedly
Yes, you
increasing
influence
the
lives.
trade force. That was what we were here to do. It's change lives.
Yeah. So they watched like every move these guys made. You know, it was pretty fun. So we build this addition on, and we put a wood stove out there. Okay, which now heats my house most of the year.
It's good. Hey,
Yeah.
renewable energy.
New is old and old is new.
Yeah, it is. It is renewable, right? I grow new trees. Derecho knocks them down. I get more trees.
Yeah.
I burn the trees.
The one once every 100, 200 year derecho. And
here in Iowa
you're in
lately,
Iowa.
last little bit, it's like once every 6 months. It feels like.
Plus, it's like a fitness program, right? Splitting wood and
splitting wood. Now that is true. That is true. Like I was just, I'm like too old to like work out and lift weights and stuff. But this weekend I'm
Same.
running the chainsaw. Now I need to split some wood up, but I had to cut up a bunch of wood, but that I got for free from a local arborist. He's like, hey, I got to dump some logs. Can I? I'm like, yeah, sure. Bring them on by. Burn them up. I'll get them split up. It's nice. See, now that's making life easy though. When someone else cuts the damn tree down,
that's true.
And does all the lemon part. That's just work right there.
So what else is new at Connie program?
Oh, let me see here.
I'm just jumping subject.
Yeah.
But we're going back to the career fair.
Go back to the career
fair.
fair.
Was last week and this week?
Oh, okay, there's something new. All right,
2 weeks now?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
I'm learning these things.
And last week, see, you guys need to get in on this in future semesters. There was a building career fair in the morning for 2 hours over at the Alumni Center. It was people looking that you had to be in some type of a building profession. Okay, not necessarily buildings. It could be, bridges or whatever, and it could be design. But it was predominantly civil and construction engineering type of companies. Yeah. And it was 2 hours in the morning, and it was like it sold out in, I guess, a morning.
It was tough, yep.
Yeah. And then it was like you could only bring 2 people and 1 flyer or whatever. Your table was no bigger than this table.
Yeah.
But it had a really good turnout. A lot of the students went because they're like, yeah, every employer in there is hiring for us. So that might be something to consider in future semesters. It worked really well.
Hopefully they show up tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I'm canceling class for 251, so they're supposed to show.
All right.
All right. So, well, at least the sophomores. I can't make the juniors because I don't have class tomorrow.
Fair enough.
All right. So
you give them credit for the class if they get an intent-built card or something.
What's
I don't
that?
know if he has enough.
No.
Bring a pen back or something.
Bring a pen back.
Yeah, bring a pen back.
Some merch.
Yeah.
Right. No, I just strongly encourage them to go because they should, even if they got
100%.
jobs.
Yeah.
They should. They should. I mean, and this is, and once again, since their frame of reference is pretty short. Most of these students haven't ever known a time when the career fair wasn't packed with people and there's plenty of jobs.
Yeah.
So, and our numbers are kind of like at around 230, 240 Connies, which is, we're back to pre-COVID numbers just barely, but not at our highest ever either, So
what was I don't even know my.
We might have gotten as high as about 300 students at one point in Connie. I mean, that would have been about the highest, and that was pretty painful.
Yeah, I can't imagine that many kids.
I don't remember what mine was.
No, it was before.
100?
I think. Let me think here. Like, at one point, 241 would have had 60 students a semester in it.
I don't think we were that high.
Yeah, you weren't. It was a little bit.
No, that's
down.
awesome.
Yeah.
Any new classes?
Let me think here. Now we have engineering law. I'm teaching over the winter. They gotta binge watch me. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them. It's a good class and all, but man, you want to watch.
Class.
You want to watch all that in 3 weeks, though.
No.
Yeah, that's painful. Anyway, they got to do that. Let's see here. I mean, most of our new classes are really like grad class type of stuff.
Yeah.
What does the university need from the industry? Like,
what's that?
Like, what do you guys need?
Well, what do we need as
Yeah.
faculty?
Yeah, like what is the alumni base? Like what's the need?
Well, okay. This is Brad Perkins speaking, not the university. So you're going to get two different. The university would say that we need a new building.
The alumni would too.
Yes, and actually the faculty would as well. Although what I would say is we need a whole building, not just the addition. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You know what we really need is personal opinion. I would like to see what we really need is what happens when Brad Perkins stops teaching, Jenny Baker stops teaching. All of our ones with experience. What happens when we stop teaching? Because what's happened over the years is that when we go, we have a really hard time hiring for the teaching positions. And because it's like, oh yeah, we want experience and we want you to either have a master's degree or PE license, and we're going to pay right about what you would expect if you were graduating undergrad.
Yeah, that's tough.
It is. It's tough. Like I've tried to recruit friends of mine, for jobs. Like, hey, you'd be really good at this, and they laugh at me. Like legit, straight up, like, okay, Brad, what's it pay? And I tell them, and they're like, no. Maybe when I retire, maybe if I'm really bored and I'm looking for something to do, and that's not sustainable.
No,
and that's my biggest fear with regards to the program and longevity is, and this bugs me to death. It's like, why can't we pay to the point where it's a legit job? Not like I've got okay, so Mike, you were kind of here what I would call the golden age of Connie, right? It was me, it was Larry.
Yeah.
No, not because you were here. Not because you were here. But, Larry, Beth, Jenny, Cliff,
Chuck on his way out.
Yeah, Chuck was still
Cliff.
here. What's that?
I graduated with Cliff.
Yeah,
Cliff was just coming in.
Cliff was just, but anyway, the point is that they had, your peers, you all had experts every step along the way in the field. Okay. And over the years, that's been harder. It has gotten harder and harder and harder to find the replacements. And a lot of that is that if you look at what they're paying, it's you got it. Like Larry and Beth and I and Jenny, all of us have what I would call the teaching side hustle, right? Where, Jenny, myself, Larry, we all have consulting to do on the side. Beth had, she had a pension from the military after 20 years. Okay. That shouldn't be a thing, where it's not, where you're expected to have a whole side business and still make teaching, a priority. And that's what the industry needs. Well, what I would love to see. And I was talking about this with, some of the other podcasts I've done, but, if let's say, your two companies wanted to sponsor a teaching professor.
Right.
Okay. Legit. Let's just use the sports program model. You want to give me a uniform where I've got, and we sell, I'll look like a damn NASCAR driver going into that classroom. I don't have any problem with that. And if that's what it takes to get the replacements for us, because, we're all replaceable. There's nothing, the way I teach psychometrics isn't some secret formula. I don't have the market cornered on it. Apparently Mike could do it. You may not like
once
to.
every year.
But it's an interesting challenge, I guess I'd say, back to the industry is like, the largest companies in the Americas for sure are pulling Iowa State grads. And,
right.
Not to belittle $100,000 or $50,000, but holistically, to fund, and I don't know the right mechanical name for it, but a fund that could sponsor.
It would be a named professorship.
Is that
yes?
technical?
See, now I do have a named professorship. One of the Rick Schultz with Arco. He said, you know what, this is important. And so Jenny Baker and I, we are the Rick and Sue Schultz teaching professors. Okay, so we have a named professorship, and that's awesome, and I'm very grateful for it. But what I would like to see it get to the point where every position in Con-E had not a small one, but like one that would allow them to at least if I came to talk to you about it, it'd pay enough that you didn't laugh at me.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm telling you, I know this for a fact. Friends of mine, because they laughed at me, when I was telling them what it would pay, and they're like, no.
Well,
No.
And again, from a dollar standpoint, like how many members are on the faculty?
Well, let me think here. All right, so if we go through, like 12?
12? And even like a $30,000 increase.
Oh,
right?
gosh, that'd be monsters.
Well, you know what I mean? But just quick math, that's $360,000. So you do, what does that fund have to be to spin that off every year, right?
Every year.
To have
Well,
that
you
as
would need, it's like, let's just say 60,000 per million endowed.
Okay.
Okay, so you need 5 million endowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't sound.
It doesn't
Brian's
seem on
signing up.
What's that?
I said Brian's signing up.
Mike's got
Right.
that. Mike's
Right.
got that.
But you're right. We're talking about, so when I walk through the Engineering Career Fair, I see the who's who, the largest construction companies in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the big ones, the small ones,
Yep.
all between, and we want all of them.
Right.
Okay, we want students to have that choice. But it would just seem like, and that's the thing that I think I wish the industry got behind, is everybody talks about how awesome it is to have professors with experience, and then does very little to actually make that happen on a daily basis.
Yeah, the ability to retain it, right?
The ability to recruit and retain it.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see, because I'm fortunate. Okay, just as an example, this last summer, the department decides that to save money, we're going to stop teaching all of our winter class or summer classes.
Okay.
Okay. Don't get me started on whether that actually saves money or not, but they just did.
No AC.
Decision.
It's easy.
So I was talking to one of the younger guys that teaches, statics, after I was like, how was summer? Because he's used to having summer income. He's like, yeah, not so awesome. Had to use savings to get through the summer. I'm like, yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And it's just like, really? I mean, really, here we are wanting to teach summer classes, like, oh yeah, we're going to save a few bucks and cancel this. And it's like, oh gosh. I mean, it just seems like if we're going to be serious about the long-term quality of the instruction that everybody agrees people with an experience in is necessary, then let's get serious about funding it. I mean, we're serious about doing the same thing for a football coach, and I don't disparage him a bit.
No.
He's good at it. But there's some public money, and there's all the talk show deals and all this other stuff that goes into the whole package. Why? Because the alumni have said, we want to pay what it takes to get a top coach here.
Oh.
Great. Can we use that elsewhere?
But I think the tools are there. It's just more of how to expand that conversation, because you just got done mentioning there's 2 weeks of career fairs and a dedicated construction industry career fair. Like,
yeah,
the demand from our industry to pull a Con-E is there. That demand also comes with an expectation of like that education and that experience. And so I find it as an interesting kind of call to say, hey, like, here's an issue, right? Like we have to be forward thinking. It's no different than how we design a building. Like, how are we forward thinking? It's not what it costs to operate today, but what's going to cost to operate in the future. To that extent, how does the program recruit and bring back or bring in that continuing generation? I thought I had a pretty good group of teachers come through, and the ones that followed have carried that torch.
Yeah.
And so but things got a lot more expensive. in the last 5-7 years. And cost
Oh
of
yeah,
living,
yeah.
so-
I mean, here, if I did something depressing here a while back. I calculated because one of my friends from the consulting world had her in to do, and she was a young structural engineer at the same firm I was at. So we were I was doing the mechanical design and I was the project manager for engineering, and she was the structural engineer. And we were like walking back to the parking lot afterwards, and I was like, because she's always kind of hinted at, yeah, she'd like to come teach. And I'm like, yeah, you should, you'd be really good at it. I mean, definitely the design, structural design could use someone with experience like you.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but I probably will once I retire, and, I'll look at it. I'm like, okay, and that's fine. Don't get me wrong. It's just that that means that you're kind of there for a short period of time. You're not going to get the ones that have been in the same class like me now, for 20 years.
Right.
If before it's a viable thing for you to come teach, you have to retire from your primary job.
Yeah.
You're already starting at 65, let's just say. Let me just go out on a limb and say you probably don't have 20 years of teaching. But anyway, so we were talking about pay, and she's like, and I'm like, yeah, you should look at this. She's like, oh no, not until I retire. She was joking about it, and she asked me something about, salary and whatever. And here's the mistake that I made. After talking to her, I went back. I took my, time value of money that we were talking about.
Yep.
I took my salary when I left industry at 2005. And what I would be making if all I got was inflation adjustments.
Uh-oh.
No pay raise, just
shouldn't-
inflation.
That's not a path to go down.
It is not a
No.
path to go down because I'm $40,000 behind.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean in real dollars, I'm making $40,000 less.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is why I have to do consulting.
And that's the hard part. It's with all education. That's the.
Yeah,
I wish we could
is.
fix that too, through public, through private, through
Yeah,
state schools, through wherever it is. It's here.
it is.
And
It is. It's a
to
hard
get-
profession to do.
Oh,
I mean, here it's so bad. Like, just as an example, my wife has this fall because so after you left, my wife and I had twin girls. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. You didn't know this.
Didn't know that.
Full house. Good thing you did the addition.
good thing I did the
good
addition.
thing I did the
A
addition.
whopping
So we have the
80
full
square
house.
feet.
Full. Good thing we had. Yeah, we got 3 of a kind and then 2 of a kind. Got twin girls 10 years after our last son. Okay, all right. So let's just say girls are different, and I love it. I'm
we're
just
gonna
all
go kids
for it.
now because
What's that?
Kids are wild and crazy and fun.
Oh,
and boys
yeah.
and girls are
Very different. Very different. Can we even say that? I mean, I have this theory that boys and girls are different, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. You know what? It's a podcast. I don't care. Cancel me if you will. Okay, but anyway, so my wife, one of my girls was diagnosed with autism, and the services for autism in the state of Iowa suck.
Ooh.
They're terrible, absolutely terrible. So with that in mind, we started a charity. It's called a care farm.
Yep.
So that kids with autism and all abilities, not just autism, but they can work on life skills, social skills, work skills on the farm. And then this fall, my wife started a small 1-room schoolhouse there for my daughters and whoever else wants to come. Well, what's happening is more and more and more are starting to come.
Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, it's awesome. It's just, man, is it exhausting?
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot. Yeah, I'm stupid. We have a hard time saying no. But anyway, but no, teaching
Cultivating Hope, right?
Yes, Cultivating Hope
Yep.
Farms. Yeah. Check it out. It's we always got stuff going here. In a couple weeks, we have a fall carnival where one of the local carnival companies brings us like 3 rides, and they bring them in for free, and
awesome.
and like what you smoking. Luther donates food, and we'll have kids come through, and I mean it's fun. But these are the kids that wouldn't normally get a chance to go to like a carnival or something, because maybe behaviorally they just can't handle.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But anyway, that's the thing is with teaching, it's literally to the point where you want something done, you got to do it yourself as a parent. You know, it's like, all right, why is this country school even necessary? Well, because a lot of the schools just,
Struggle.
Yeah.
Struggle. That's not a knock on that's both private and public and everything. I mean, it just is.
Well, I think that's not a good segue, but it's the industry, right? Like why is there labor shortages?
Yeah.
Like, why is that existing in the trades? Why is there labor shortages in the upcoming teacher world for schools or whatever it is? It's just getting the word out and the messaging that at the end of the day, been a great career for I think the both of us.
Yep.
Right. I mean, the choices we made to put in the hours and come through the school, and it's a full circle moment now where we're back here and reconnecting.
Reconnecting and recruiting. You're looking for somebody. Yeah. See, I'm talking about, well, who's going to take my place? You guys are recruiting, ostensibly, you're not doing a good job if you're not thinking about who's going to replace you. I mean, really, you're not really planning for the long term.
Yeah. You're not helping yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
You're not helping yourself.
Is that part of anything on like the industry advisory? Do they go through like a 3, 5, 10-year plan of faculty, or is it something that
of faculty?
I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know.
Not enough. I mean, we need to.
Yeah.
I mean, you were on
one of the hardest things to
industries.
do.
Especially if and once again, this is kind of inside baseball kind of thing, but the thing. I love teaching, and a lot of times working at the university drives me absolutely just crazy, and so I mean, they've got a big push, which is needed, the addition for town.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fine. But institutions get very tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying. Raising money for a building is flashy, and it gets people's attention. And raising money for teaching is, it's one of those things like buying that better window.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but I got to pay for it now. What do I get? What's the return? What's the return on this?
How do you sell it?
How do you sell it?
I mean, Mike and I talk about that with like apartment units, right? Like.
Yeah.
You can spend a lot of money, but how do you differentiate yourself in the market? And what are you selling when someone opens up a website and says, "Show me an apartment"?
Yeah.
And everyone looks the same, right? I mean,
yeah,
a little different, right? Little bit of different amenities, but you pull up a university and said, "Well, here's my program and here's my things."
Yeah.
And
how do you write down? Hey, we got really good teachers. Yeah, everybody says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But. So we need to give you a little bit of time. What are you looking for with regards to, the students tomorrow? What are you looking for? What do you want to see? What are you hiring for?
I mean, we're looking for, I guess, just the ones that want to just kind of work, and I know that's a weird generic piece to say, but we're looking for heavy civil, we're looking for a mechanical, we're looking for a building. It doesn't necessarily matter the trade specific because of just our market diversity of what we're doing. But it's that individual that, just wants to get in, wants to ask the questions, and wants to just kind of be part of a team. We're uniquely positioned with that you get to create it what it is you want.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of job opportunities and careers, you're a widget on some level. And what we've created is like, you don't like what this is? Perfect. Let's make it better. And we're exploring that through every facet of the company. We're exploring it through, our benefits, our health insurance, our paid time off, the type of work. Again, I said in the beginning, we build everything. Well, why is that? I have guys that can do a 17-story office to apartment conversion, and they're really good at it. So let's let them do that because they love it. I got other guys that have been doing asphalt and parking lots and utilities for 25 plus years, and they're really smart about how to go and do that. So we then support that. So finding the individuals that have, I guess, a passion or desire, and then letting us kind of bring that out. And if that's apartments or civil work, or if it's, building science or food manufacturing, it's just that individual that, showing up tomorrow is the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that and a good handshake that goes a long way. I mean,
The handshake goes a long way.
It does.
And I think not going in with the expectations of if you're a student, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to do this. And if I don't go do this or go build that, I don't want to go there because it's the experience of whatever you're going to do. Because if you want your career to be one thing and one thing only,
do it.
Go do it.
Yep.
Go do it. Go find it.
But being diverse, learning, looking at different
but how many
things,
times does that ever really happen?
For what?
Like someone's like, oh, this is what I want to do. And that's actually what they end up doing their whole career. I know very few people. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of some. No, I can think. I have a buddy that that I was at Iowa State with. He was we were in ROTC together, both as Marine options. I did not make it because of breaking my leg, and 30 years later, I went to his retirement.
All right.
He did one thing his whole life. Now you could argue he did multiple things within the Corps itself, but he was in the Marines the whole time. So I'm going to just say he did, and he's by far the exception. I don't know if I could think of anyone else.
And it's the experience of getting out there and just doing something.
Yeah.
And being open and learning and listening and asking questions and
are you predominant? Are you only in Minneapolis area or?
We're in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa.
Okay. Oh, okay.
In the moment.
Okay.
So
all right.
And we'll see if Arizona, if that ends up being where we go next, I guess. But
Arizona.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When you can do earthwork, you can do it everywhere.
That's a good point.
So.
That's a good point. It's easier there. No frost.
Just
lots of rocks.
Not so much water. That's easy.
Yeah, not so much water.
Not enough water.
That you have to water. You have to water your sites. It's a whole different. Yeah. It's a whole different animal.
Dude. You know how I was just reading. Help me out here. Do you know much about the Phoenix area? Building there?
A little bit.
Okay, I was hearing, and this is the thing. Since I read it on the internet, I don't know if this is true or not. But they are either considering a city resolution, or at least one of the suburbs was, where you've got to, if you're looking for a permit to build, you've pretty much got to bring your own water to the permit.
Water appropriations and all your permits, absolutely.
Is that
we went through?
Okay.
Worked on a project in Arizona for a while, and it's your big essential study before you can ever even talk about a project. Is you have to prove out 100 years of sustainability for water.
No
at your site.
way.
I think it was 100 years. But
is it serious?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the entire Phoenix metro or just?
This was in Phoenix proper.
In Phoenix proper. Okay. Okay.
I think it was. But
all right. But I mean, that is shocking.
Because they don't
have any.
They don't want to allow you to hook up to their city municipal water and then say, oh, in 10 years your building or all the other buildings, we don't have enough water for you. Right.
I mean, that's literally where they're at. I mean, this is like talking about water is like the last third of my class in 352 because it's it is, even just since I've been teaching here, it is much more massive deal. I mean, look at the droughts and the whole thing with Lake Mead and, and the Colorado River and how every drop of it is already allocated. And, I'm teaching that to students in Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, and they look at me like, that's a thing?
Yeah.
You can't put out a rain barrel without a permit on your own land? That can't be real. Yeah, it is. It is straight up.
And that's the other encouragement I would have at the career fair is try different places.
Yeah. Oh,
yes. You can go somewhere different, someplace I never did.
Yeah.
And it's one.
I was going to say, who are you talking?
That's what
you looked at Minnesota and Minnesota.
Yeah. I came back and worked in Iowa for a few years, then Kansas City, but that was after.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But study abroad if you can.
Yeah.
Good advice. My wife did,
Good
and
advice.
it's like the one I'm just like, oh, I should have done that. But I thought Connie and work and get a job. That's the important part.
Foreign out or whatever it is. Yeah.
Co-ops are great. And go somewhere different. Because most of those companies, if you're going to go somewhere, they probably have a different branch somewhere else, and you learn different things.
I said something on my last podcast. I'm editing right now, and what's funny is that you do one of these and then you don't remember what you said.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely. I've got to watch this again and be like, I don't remember saying that. But anyway, we'll see. And some of it, who knows? Maybe you watch. I give most likely a 50-50 shot that one of these podcasts will get me fired at some point. I give it at least 50% chance.
We've kept the swear words to a minimum. I don't think we've
Oh
really
no,
had any.
I'm not talking about swear words.
And there's
I'm
nothing
not
yet
talking
of
about swear words.
You haven't said anything too bad on.
What's
the
that?
school
Well,
or-
sometimes you could offend the sensibilities of, saying things like we should get paid like the football coach is not going to go far here in campus. The model, not the amount, although I would take the amount. I absolutely would. But anyway.
Maybe we need to look at the industry getting some money into the program like the sports. Like for the, I don't know.
Like the sponsorships.
Like the
yeah.
But
sponsorships.
even your sponsorships of hard hats.
Yeah,
That's a simple thing
Oh,
of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how easy is that?
Yeah, learning community. Like Jenny Baker, she's doing learning community now. Man, she could use money, and you give her cash, she'll get stuff done with the freshmen.
Yeah, what is it? So the new one of the new alumni programs, Core, and then we're helping sponsor the red hats, right? The construction hard hats.
Construction
And
hard
so there
hats,
was a call out. We need $2,600 to fund this. I was like, okay, well, we can do that. Like, I'm not a huge company, but there's value. And the interesting thing is like that compiled, no different than you said, $50 saved here and $50 saved there makes a pro forma work. $1,000 from every company is like a feeder to come in. Like, I mean, just hotels and travel to come down here.
Yeah.
Like our consumables or of company of any size. If you're truly invested in come to Iowa State to recruit the students, a $2,500 donation every year goes a long way for the program.
Oh,
and
it
does.
doesn't.
It's a rounding error.
I'm telling you, like stuff like that is when you were a TA. That's how your TA spot was paid for. I mean, and that's real
paid.
world.
No,
You're supposed to. Oh wait, you might have got college credit.
I don't think I got paid.
Wait, no.
I
Did
think
you
I
do the
paid to
college
be
credit?
a TA.
No?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Doesn't
either.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's here nor there.
Right? Because I've done both.
But,
I've done both. You can either get college credit for it, or you can get paid. Like my current TAs are getting paid, and they're not getting college credit for it. But either way, I mean, I think that's a great use of some of that money is hiring undergrads to teach undergrads. I think that's a win right there.
Yeah, it is.
And just so you guys know, this isn't some big trade secret or anything, but if you're talking to students at the career fair and you come across like peer mentors or you come across graders or TAs, just like mentally think to yourself, there's probably a reason that they've been picked by the faculty to do things like that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see like a goal chart. Right, like I mean, if you
that's what I'm like looking at. Just like this
games,
starting to say,
you get into the psychological games of how apps work, right? Like, what is a dollar amount need that creates a tangible return, and then through the core or whatever programs, like the call and reach out to say, hey guys, like here's a need, and here's a financial way, and maybe in the beginning it's unattainable to get $5 or $6 million into a bucket, but maybe it's obtainable to get, $50,000 raised, and what could we do with that to make an impact or start confirming the foundation of the program? So
yeah. Well, I mean, we better start doing something to plan for the next ones because we can't just wait. Like let's say heaven forbid I'm on my way home and I'm in a car accident or something, right? And it's like somebody's got to replace me, and if that's the moment we start thinking about it.
Yeah,
that's not a good move. That's not a good move. We can't just assume somebody's going to be there. I mean, we've gotten pretty lucky over the years doing that, but
there's been some really
good
faculty
instructors
that have really just
but
shaped.
All right. Well, it looks like you're looking for students. The go-getters, the ones that are probably in the couple state area, maybe Arizona. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Upper Midwest would be ideal, and just, someone that I don't know, strong handshake. We'll start with that.
Yeah,
like I mean, I've got great friends that weren't actively involved. They didn't do the agency. They didn't do anything. They just head down, got stuff done. So it's tough. It's tough to like look at someone in 30 seconds. Yeah.
Well, that's why the internship is such a great thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's let's call it what it is. You're not really getting the dollar value. You're buying their time to see if you're interested in making an offer afterwards. I mean, that's the whole purpose.
And
of
if
the
they're
internship.
interested in you.
And if
Yep.
they're interested in you,
That's
it is a trial. It's a good trial run, and interns are the best hiring pools. With regards to they're a known commodity. So anyway, I'm hoping that all my students show up and at least talk to you guys tomorrow. Or wait, you're not.
I'm not going.
You're not going.
I'm just here for this.
just
You're
rent
just
it
to
here
hang
for
out.
this.
And,
Awesome.
Just rent the units.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
move to the Minneapolis market,
yeah, you can rent apartment units from
Yeah.
us.
they're beautiful.
Brian will get them.
Well, we have a lot of Minnesota students, so some of them are probably heading
Yeah,
back,
and if anybody
heading
is
back up.
curious about just transitions from GC
Yeah.
life to ownership side and
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of the owner's rep face of it, feel free, reach out to Brad. You can get a contact with me, and
All right.
happy,
Right.
especially if people are up in the Minneapolis area.
All right. Well, I'm glad that addition is still working today.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That is good.
That is good.
The
It's
warranty
still there.
is expired.
Yeah, a warranty.
There was a tail light warranty. That was about it.
Oh, tail light warranty. When you're hiring students, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's
That's
good as long as the car's in the driveway.
the cars in the driveway. Well, it's lasted a little bit longer than that.
Good.
All right. Well, hey, it was great having you guys in here. For
Yeah,
this
thanks for the
chat.
invite.
Yeah.
Oh, happy to do it. Happy to do it. Thank you for taking the time because I know everybody's busy.
Yeah, no.
And hope they show up. And terrible thing is this won't be up and ready before the career fair tomorrow. So
That's all right.
all right. But I did tell them in my classes to get out there. So you give me, I'm going to try to swing by the career fair tomorrow for a little bit walk through. That's at least the goal. We'll see. I also kind of have to go pick up a horse for one of my girls.
Well,
So I
Priorities.
gotta get that done. You know what they say? Buy your little girl a horse before she brings home a jackass.
ooh, on that note.
On that note,
Those are facts. Those are facts right there.
All right.
All right. Well, with that in mind, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Office Hours podcast, and I sure appreciate my guests showing up and being here. Check them out at the career fair. Of course, by the time you see this, you'll already have been there, I hope. All right. Bye.